What's going on, gamers? It's Dom here, back once again. We're talking AEW Fight Forever. I was thinking, why don't we talk about some of the things we want in the game as we're getting close to release here for the game, specifically for the Road to Elite game mode there. I had some ideas thinking about what really could that mode entail, and I thought, let's name off 5 factions that I would love to join. I think would be really cool. Go through the story, join the faction, different routes you could take, whether it be becoming the leader of that faction, disbanding that faction, causing chaos within it. I think there's a lot of routes that they could take there. Of course, this is just me saying that. It means that this could not even be a thing in the game, or it could be much more linear, maybe not as much branching off as what I'm thinking here. But let's just get into it and talk about some of the different ideas that I had. Starting off with number 5, we have the Best Friends. Of course, we know Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends are in the game. We have Chucky T and Trent Beretta, and Chris Statlander also. I don't know if we have Wheeler Yuta in the game. Now, this is definitely going to be taken into perspective the roster of the game right now, who we have, who can play around with, so you won't be seeing any like Jericho Appreciation Society or Blackpool Combat Club here in this list. But let's start off pretty strong. I think with the Best Friends is a pretty good one here. You could even come in and be the best friend of Orange Cassidy, and you could ride around in Sue's minivan. I think that would be just awesome and dope to have something there. Maybe incorporate these factions here. As we know, I believe we'll have the Stadium Stampede. I read online, but as you know, reading online, actually playing is much more different there. I don't see them going into like a blood and guts match there or something that wild, but it would be a lot of fun to play around with the Best Friends. Maybe do run the tag team gold with Orange Cassidy or something. Who knows? Next up, this one has to be a given, I feel like, is joining the Elite, causing turmoil within it, almost having different alignments within the Elite. You could have the Kenny Omega side, you could have the Hangman side, you could have your side, whose side will the Bucks be on? I think that it could be a really interesting story there. Adam Cole gets involved. I think the dynamic of the Elite, you almost have to have it, for this game. I feel like for the Road to Elite, it just builds it so perfectly. You're a character that you've created and ran down, everybody, but then there's still probably Kenny Omega at the top with the title, and it's, do you betray your friend to go after the title, or you just continue helping him out? I think that'd be a very interesting dynamic there. Next up, we have one of my OG favorites for All Elite Wrestling. It is the Inner Circle. You got Jericho, you got Hager, you got Santana Ortiz. I don't know if they've been confirmed yet. And of course, we have Sammy Guevara there. And I think that'd be really fun to have the Inner Circle, bring them back and keep it fresh in everyone's mind. There's the conflict, of course, like I said, with Kenny Omega, Jericho, another guy who wants to be at the very tip top there with the title. How do you deal with someone like that? Maybe, like I said, get some tag team gold, with Hager as like your big enforcer, or even Sammy Guevara. How will that play into the actual tag team with Pride and Powerful for Santana Ortiz? How will they react to that? I think there's maybe shifting dynamics there, and I hadn't even mentioned the TNT title, with Sammy Guevara. He's a hell of a name when it comes to talking about the lineage of that title, that I think you can just have the inner turmoil there with the Inner Circle, just with those storylines. Now let's talk about a faction that I don't necessarily think it ever had a name. It was Eddie Kingston's family. You had Eddie Kingston, you had the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny, and you had Pentagon and Ray Phoenix. So you had all of his buddies there just hanging out, and I think that'd be pretty cool, honestly, for an Eddie Kingston faction, someone that you align with, and the self-destruction is just right there, with Eddie Kingston, with everybody else. Maybe you go and align with the Lucha Bros. Eddie Kingston's over here with the Butcher and the Blade, and it becomes that 3-on-3 mess there. Eddie's side versus your side for the faction. Like I said, I don't remember if they ever had a name for them, and it wasn't like a super long storyline there, but you could even tie in, John Moxley with that storyline if you really wanted to. And finally, to wrap things off here, I feel like this one has to be a given. Just like the Elite, we might not get anyone else, but I feel like with the Elite and this one here, with the Dark Order, it has to be a given, right? So we do have the Exalted One, Mr. Brody Lee, in the game. Now, I don't know if he'll actually be in the storyline, of Road to Elite, if he'll be tied in there, or if it'll be a whole different thing with Hangman. Maybe they're looking for a leader for the Dark Order. Maybe he is the leader. If I was putting this all pen to paper, I would say, it's its own realm, its own fantasy world. Put him in there and tell the story there, Mr. Brody Lee, and almost like make it like a ranking system, like you're moving up the tiers there, but then he sees like you can get your own mask. That'd be really cool, but you're moving your way up too quickly that he sees you as a threat, and he has to have the Dark Order basically betray you, or you try to become the leader of the Dark Order. I think that would be one of the best things this game could have going for it, is to tell that huge long-term story there. And like I said, with the Elite and even Inner Circle, you already have, tag teams that could conflict with you and say, oh, it was an Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. They wanted the belts instead, but you and 10 got them somehow or something. Or you have the TNT title, or you got the world title, and Mr. Brody Lee wants you to relinquish it to him or something. So I think there's a lot of cool elements there you could go. But that's going to wrap it up here for a top 5 factions that I would love to play as in AEW Fight Forever Road to Elite. Hopefully this actually happens. That'd be kind of cool to look back on and see if that's the case. With that being said, everyone, if you guys have any factions that you really want to play as, or any cool ideas for the game, leave them down below as we're talking more and more about this game approaching release. Alright, everyone, peace out.